Zone, sponsored by Muckleshoot Casino.
It is now time to enter the place we like to call the Hawk Zone. I'm dressed a bit like a hawk with my feathers and green hair. Joining me now is my beloved other half, the impeccable Johnny Rose, or as some call him, Terry Hollimon. Now, our Canadian character counterparts don't exactly know much about the football, so we might have to break character for a little bit as we get into the Hawk Zone. And very, very good news from the Hawk Zone this Monday. They had a 14-point win over the Giants, a team that came here 6-1. We knew it was going to be a tough game. It was a quality win against a quality team.
Absolutely is. And again, I'm going to have to break character because I don't think Johnny Rose really follows the NFL like that.
No.
But definitely a big quality win this past weekend versus the Giants, a team that came in 6-1, one of the hottest teams in the National Football League, some great players. And the Hawks took care of business this weekend, and they beat a very good New York Giants football team.
The Giants have been the second best running game in the league. But you would have never known that because the defense shut them down.
Absolutely did, and I think that was one of the keys to the game. The Seahawks came in saying this team was red hot because of their offense, and their offense is being led by a guy named Saquon Barkley, one of the best running backs in the game, and the quarterback, Daniel Jones, was another guy that was really hot. The Seahawks said, we're not going to let these two guys beat us. You're going to have to pick some other guys on this team to beat us, but those guys aren't going to do it. So they kept them in check. Daniel Jones didn't have a very good day. Saquon Barkley was held in line most of the day, and the Seahawks obviously did a good job defensively holding that together.
And special teams really made their mark again.
They did. Special teams really showed up this past weekend. I think that was the big difference in the game. Two huge fumbles on kickoffs and punts and caused by one of our starters, Will Dissly, was the guy that got it started. And he was a guy that, one of our starting tight ends, one of the stalwarts on the offense. He runs down on kickoffs. Pete Carroll and this team doesn't say, we're going to save our players for what they play on every down. We're going to put them on special teams. We're going to let them make plays. And Uncle Will, as they call him, made a big play on the first one, causing a fumble, and he actually recovered the second one. So big deal for the Seahawks on special teams.
Good job, Uncle. Tyler Lockett, though, he has some uncharacteristic mistakes. He kind of got a redemption touchdown.
Yes.
It is impressive for me when I see a player kind of have these issues but then bounce back. I mean, that takes real just mental fortitude, right?
Absolutely does. So when we talk about the mistakes that he made early in this game, he fumbled the ball deep in the Seahawks end zone, causing them to score the Giants to get a touchdown, and had another drop that bounced off his face mask. And I heard him post-game say what made the difference. Pete Carroll comes to him on the sideline, and he's holding his head, and there's screaming and gnashing of teeth, and Pete Carroll walks up to him and says, hey, what'd you have for breakfast? And most people think, like, that's kind of a weird situation, right?
Yeah.
But no, what it does is it breaks his train of thought where he's thinking about this negative things that are happening, and he has to go back and think, what did I have for breakfast? And so now everything's clear. So, yeah, that's what happened.
Genius.
Ain't it, though? I need somebody like that in my life.
I do, too. All right, if you were ever feeling troubled, you let me know, and I'll ask you a random question and help you feel better.
There you go.
All right, good deal. Speaking of bouncing back, can you believe DK Metcalf played after that knee injury last week?
Yeah, a lot of people thought he was out. He had a patellar injury, an undisclosed, undescribed patellar injury. They thought he would be out for at least a week, maybe two. But DK Metcalf is a machine. You look at this guy, he's not going to be held out of any game that he could possibly play in. He came back and he actually made a difference in this game. Big playmaker, scored a touchdown, helped motivate this team to a big victory.
Yeah, well, it looks like they're having more and more fun out there.
They are.
Celebrating more end zone dances.
Absolutely.
What does that tell you?
So it tells me that this team is coming together under a lot of duress that they were facing, not just in the season, but in the offseason. A lot of people had doubts about these guys,
doing the
right?
Thriller?
He did the Thriller. So he's celebrating Halloween just like the rest of us. He is really bringing a lot of energy to this team. You see the unity there. I actually heard DK Metcalf talk about this in his post-game interview, and he said, you know, it may sound cliche, but we are a real brotherhood here. And he said that really started to come together after they played the Atlanta Falcons earlier this season. He said they really had a moment where they came together, really had some heart-to-heart moments, some behind-the-scenes, you know, talks, and they really became a brotherhood. And you can see since that point, they've gone on to play incredible football. And I think there's something to be said about that. And it's not just cliche, because if you have a coworker that you work with, like this is really a job of theirs, right? You might not care as much about your coworker as you do about your brother. And so these guys are willing to run through the wall for each other.
That is important. You can see that kind of love on the field as they're with each other. Well, now that the Seahawks are proving that they're the real deal, to the rest of the league. Does that put a bigger target on their back?
Oh, absolutely. I think you look at where they are right now, they're number one in the division. So everybody wants to go after number one, regardless of who they are, right? The Seahawks have fought all adversity, fought all the doubters and all the naysayers, and now they're the guys with the target on their back. So everybody in the league knows these guys are hot. Geno Smith is realistically an MVP candidate right now. And so they're going after these guys.
They really are. Really quickly, before I let you go, Seahawks travel to Arizona next week. What do we need? What do they need to know?
Again, Kyler Murray is going to be one of the biggest threats they'll face at quarterback. He's incredible. He's dynamic. He can do it all. He's got some great weapons, and so they're going to want to hold him in check.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Terry.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll stick around now. Coming up, by the way, at the Muckleshoot Casino, MMA is fighting, and it is back at Muckleshoot Event Center. Don't miss Excite Fight Friday, December 2nd. It features an exciting lineup of the Northwest's best fighters. The main event is Jimmy Funky Cold Molina versus Muckleshoot tribe member Shane White Eagle. Visit the website on your screen for more information for this and so many other wonderful events they have at the casino there. All right, well, thank you, my love, for talking with